Meeting Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. I'd like to invite Servant Leader Fields for our invocation and remain standing for the pledge.
Father God, we just come to you and we lift up City Hall and all the workers here and the people and the residents. And Lord, we just ask for wisdom for the things that's on the agenda tonight. We thank you for our mayors and the council and the board and all the work that they do. So we just lift up all the stuff that's going to be on here for the board committees and town hall meeting dates for 24 and 25 of this year. And the lift station and the vehicles for the public works. So I just first want to say thank you for our law enforcement. Keep them safe, God, and fire department and public works and all of us here. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can I have roll, please?
Mayor John Eric Hoover.
Here.
Vice Mayor Linda Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilman David Mueller.
Here.
Councilman Robert Hubbard.
Here.
Councilwoman Lisa Burke.
Here.
City Attorney Nancy Meyer.
Here.
City Manager Matthew Cobbler.
Here. Thank you. And we have no minutes to approve tonight, so we're going to move right straight to the comments from the general public. I have two signed up, starting with Danny Fields. Welcome.
Well, my name's Danny Fields, and my address is 8114 Lil Kid. And again, I want to thank you. I do want to talk about 9/11 that is coming up tomorrow. We had Artie, and I'm thankful for Artie that did all the years at San Pablo Community. He dropped out not doing that. So with a lot on my plate, I didn't be able to get it scheduled there, but the fire department, I reached out to them, so we're going to be doing an event there, and I got to talk to the mayor too a little bit about it. So we would like to start having that here, carrying it out. But tomorrow at our fire station here in Port Richey at 8 a.m. we'll raise the flag, and then to the first plane that hit the Twin Towers and all that, we will then lower the flag and we'll have a moment of silence. And then I will go ahead and pray over that event and all of our first responders. And you know, this is something that is very important to us, to stand together and be united for freedom and stuff, and for knowing that we have first responders and police and fire department that lays down their life, and citizens as well to defend. You know, I think of the military so much, so I don't want to spend too much time there. I do have another thing that I want to mention. I know that we've been doing a lot with Daniel Bernard, Somebody Cares, and we got a lot of events that we schedule out, and it's more for the county. We're end up going to be having a workshop, and we already did that, and an event tomorrow to lay out what we're having at Gulfview Mall. So Somebody Cares, and 30 churches are coming together. We have a motorcycle that's going to be given away, a Honda. We reach out to all the communities. We're having a car show there, and that's going to be called Care Fest, and it's by Pasco Alive, is what they call it, and it's Christ for All Nations. And so they're going to be food, fun, and games, and a car show, and a lot of other giveaways. And I got to work with that team, and so they're working all over. And even in November, from the 8th to the 10th at 6 to 9 p.m., we're even having an event with them, and the local churches come together in Shims Park, and that's the big grand finale. So we've been doing a lot of little events around here with them, and it's just great to be able to work together and have all these different businesses and communities coming together from Hudson and Port Richey, New Port Richey, Holiday, people coming all over. We've had people from out of town. Christ for All Nations, they do work everywhere. They're overseas. So I just wanted to thank you for your time, and I get to share this with you. And our captains here, I told them about 9/11, So me and the mayor was talking. If you want to do it here tomorrow, we can, but if you already have it scheduled for there, we could do it. You want to do it here at 8? So you will have your truck here and we'll do it here, and then you'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, so it, obviously 8 o'clock tomorrow is still bit. The firehouse again. Already used to do that. I don't know how long you've been doing that out there, a long time. But so I did talk to Nancy and Matt to make sure that would be okay. And I think it'd be a great place to do it out front here for that. So yeah, if you guys want to change it to here, that'd be great.
That's fine. And sorry for the short notice. I just found out about it very recently that Artie wasn't doing it anymore. So,
Right.
Yeah, I was wondering why I hadn't heard from him. So.
yeah. I haven't had a chance to follow up with him to see. So.
Yep. So yeah, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock out front. Great.
And so we'll just follow the program that he has set, and we'll add you in at the beginning with the prayer, and then I'll close it out with a short prayer, and we'll just make an event here from there on. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks.
I think the basic plan is that around 8 o'clock we raise the flag and then get everybody together. At 8:49 is when the plane hit the first tower, and that's when they'll typically have a moment of silence. And then we can end it with your prayer. So.
Yeah, starts at 8 raising, at 8:46, then we'll lower it, a moment's silence, like you said, and then a quick prayer, and we'll be released. Thank you.
Thanks. Next up, Donald Hernandez. Welcome.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for having me here tonight. It's truly an American tradition that we, across this country, don't realize how great we have it. More importantly, we don't realize how great you helped us. Yesterday, Saturday, your team had to come to my next door neighbor. She was hurting. People couldn't get into her house. She was hurting bad. We finally got a key. And all I could say is, we're not going to try anything. We're just going to call you guys. Probably within, I don't know, by the time I got to my place right next door, you were already there. Your guys had already decided, you were in already. You had already decided what you were going to do. We didn't even have time to thank you. You were already gone. We finally went to the hospital, and I talked to the emergency doctor or whoever it was. He said, you're lucky. It could have been 3 more minutes and she probably would have been dead. Every second that you guys did. And there was a quick second there where you had to wiggle the cart to get her in there. And there was no thinking about it. You just knew how to squeeze into a spot that I'd still be working on. You just don't know how much we appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I'll be sure to pass the word to the crews too.
Please pass the word. And with that said, again, on my way over here, it was kind of funny. Somebody came up to me, and as the treasurer of my homeowner association, he asked me if we could buy a bullhorn. For what? He said, well, when we have picnics outside to have people come and eat. And I said, is there any other reasons why we might need a bullhorn? And he said, no, I just think we need one. I said, well, at our next HOA meeting, we'll talk about it. I gave him the old politician, I'll get back with you. And as a politician myself, I've said, we'll get back to you many a times. But we will check into it. And a couple of weeks ago, I went to a informational about what's going on down by the river. And they talked and they talked and they talked, and they were very nice, very polite. And I kept saying, well, I'll have to get an HOA meeting together. I'll have to do this, and we'll discuss this before we decide how we want to go with this, knowing my membership. And the weekend came in, and they said, well, we'll come out there. We'll come out there. Well, we have to talk to the, there again, I'll get back to you. As a politician, I've learned to say those 3 words really, really, and really kind of mean them. Well, that Saturday, the next Saturday morning, I was off doing something, and we were not going to have our meeting till the next day. And all this activity is going on at the clubhouse. They were already there. They had already had 19 signatures. They never mentioned pretty much anything about what's going on with the condos or who's doing what or who should be having their hands slapped. All they had to do was say police and fire. That's all they had to say. And without HOA doing it, they were standing in lines to vote for whatever.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate you coming out. 3 minutes up.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Great job, guys. It was worth the 3 minutes.
That's all the signups I have. By show of hands, anyone else like to speak? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council. Next up is comments from City Manager. Pass to Mr. Coppler for his comments.
Thank you and good evening. I have submitted to everyone my written comments. Go over
I didn't get a copy, actually.
almost everyone submitted to.
Thank you.
So I'll go over them very quickly. We received notice very recently that we got our CRS recertification regarding construction certificates for community green system. The review process showed the city had 100% correctness rate. Accomplishment highlights the city's effective floodplain management practices, dedication to reducing flood risk within our community, and maintaining our high standards of compliance with the CRS program. Our residents continue to benefit from reduced flood insurance premiums. This achievement is a testament to the hard work that our building department puts into making sure that we're compliant with all elements of the CRS program. Again, something that reduces the cost of flood insurance to all of our residents in the city. It's something that we continue to do, and hopefully in the very near future work to actually get that reduced more time. Correct.
So it was reduced?
No, it was recertified.
Recertified city.
Every year they do an audit of our construction certificates to make sure that we are in compliance. And again, that's one element of the overall CRS. Another one, of course, is looking at how do we increase the points that we can get so we can reduce from your 15% right now, 15% and go for the next level. To that end, I should also mention that we are live with the Forerunner. There's going to be a lot of press going out in the next couple weeks to do more public awareness for our residents that service is something that is online and they can get access to their flood certifications, elevation certificates, a lot of information that historically they would have to call us and we'd have to get back to them with that information because we had to search for it. Now it's all in one place and mostly accessible through the internet, through the Forerunner program. So that's again another great addition there within our building department. Another milestone today, the city's new website is going live.
Nice.
And you residents are able to access this at a new URL, which is cityoffortritchie.gov. And as you know, we switched over from the .com to .gov. One, it's a lot more secure and also provides that assurance to residents that they are communicating with a government and not some sketchy organization out there. But the new website, as you can see, is a lot more attractive, but it's also more intuitive and provides easier navigation and a lot more information in a readily safe. We're still working out some of the bugs on this, so bear with us if there is something that's missing or if you're having a little difficulty navigating it. We get that worked out. We are keeping the old website, which is at the .com URL, alive and active for a period of time. But again, this is something that if you kind of scroll down, you can see some of the active buttons where you can find some of the things that people generally come to our website for very quickly. You have different highlights of events that are going on, information that we want to let people know about. Go down a little more. You'll see the calendar, which Again, this is a high-level look at it, and that'll be filled out because we have a lot of meetings coming up. We'll be able to access right there on. I'd like to thank Sal for all of his work on this. You know, he was very instrumental and did all the heavy lifting to get us here. Without the work that he did, this would not have happened in this time frame. So we're very fortunate to have Sal working for us, and his commitment to making sure that we can communicate more effectively with our residents. You know, shows not only in this, but we also launched the Civic Alert, which again is going to be replacing our Nixle Alert program. But again, the reason behind that is that program will provide a lot more information, ability to communicate with our residents than what we currently have. So this, with that, very important. What was that?
So I was going to keep them both up in tandem, so I assume we're going to update both sites as we provide updates. Or?
Yeah, for I think, go ahead.
Starting tomorrow, we're going to media blast about switching over. I probably want to keep the old one up for maybe just a few weeks to a month at max, just so no one's getting confused. But we're going to start media blasting this starting tomorrow morning. We went live about 10, 11 o'clock this morning, and I've just been going through it, double, triple, quadruple checking a lot of different areas to see what if there's anything missing. But I think we're pretty much like in a 90 percentile of all the department's documents, and all the different areas are brought over. So I'm sure I'll get feedback as as more people start looking at it and things like that. We can make changes as we move forward.
Would it be better to go ahead and just redirect people to the new one and then deal with the issues, or is it something?
That's something I've talked about with Civic Plus, and I'll probably have that conversation within the next couple of days. They could redirect, if anyone who goes to cityofportrichy.com can
Take them right here.
go forward, get forwarded straight to this one. I just wanted to make sure within a few days that there was, that the go live went correctly.
Yeah.
Before before doing that. So I just want to give it a day or two before doing that, and then the original site we're going to debate on either reutilizing that or just phasing it out completely. So.
Good.
Lastly, wanted to give a small update on the building department. As you know, we are looking to replace the building official. During the interim process, we have a contract that actually the city's had with SafeBuilt for support services related to inspections and plan reviews and such. We're utilizing that, and we're going to be having a contract building official in our offices and available to the residents on Wednesdays beginning tomorrow. Additionally, we're going to start the recruitment process, but we're also going to be doing kind of a parallel path looking at keeping a contractual relationship as well. And so once we get to the point of decision, obviously we'll bring it back to council and let you know in terms of what we think the best direction is to go with that. But we are going to be looking again at a contractual option as well as hiring our own employee for that. But in that interim, we have SafeBuilt there by our side, working with us, providing those inspection services. And that's all I had tonight. Do you have any questions?
Okay. Thanks, Matt. So next up, comments from the mayor and city council. I'll start with Councilman Mueller.
Thank you. Just a couple of items. I sent you guys some information for Duke Lighting. Do we have any updates on that? The Waterfront District?
We haven't moved forward with that yet.
I'm still working on that. That's we have to order some new lights for that area. But I was finishing up some repairs throughout the city. As soon as those repairs are done, I'm going to start ordering some of the lights for that area and some other places within the city. Dietrich Circle, Wells Court. I've been coordinating with the police department. They've been going ahead and going around at night, giving me updates.
Thank you. I noticed you guys put one of the speed signs out on Avila Bay. Anxious to see how that works out. Thank you. Do we know who owns the park that separates Catches and Port Richey Marina? There's been concerns that it's our park, but it doesn't define that anywhere in the records that I'm seeing from Pasco County. It
So,
just
so that is the road.
yes, it's the old 19
That's
crossing
that's
right.
the cities.
On the
we do-
north
yeah,
side.
we do own that.
and the south side.
Yes.
Okay, so that is city.
Yeah,
Alright.
and just to let you know, that is something that the owners of the Marine and Catches want to move forward with a request to vacate that. So that is something that's working its way through staff.
Gotcha. Thank you. I also noticed on the old website that this hurricane document isn't out there, so make sure that gets onto the new site. It's been out a while. 2023 is out there, but the 2024 isn't. We're almost all the way through hurricane season, so that one. I noticed that there was some commentary that some of the calendars were lost when they converted over. I think it was yours, Chief. Was there any way to get something out of the backup and get it in?
They have to redo their old their calendars. And their, all that.
And what's going on with the boat? I don't see it on the list. Do we have an update?
It's at the fire station. We took it there to wax it, clean it up. We had to make a repair to the radio. It was just mounted in a tough location. I had all that done today.
And I hear you guys are doing some training later on this week.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
The weather will allow us.
Perfect. Bathrooms at Brasher, are we looking at that later on? Maybe as a CRA improvement at the park? Do we have an update there? Just an idea. Also, in speed bumps on Grand. Do we have any update on that?
You want to cover them now or in old? I know they're on old business.
Well, with that, we're the bathrooms at Brasher. That, I think, did we get all the quotes in from the engineers to do that, or we're still waiting for one?
I was waiting for one more engineer from Burns and McDonald. But we have a quote that we can go ahead and start demoing the building as soon as possible.
Great.
So we were waiting for the CRA to move forward. So we can use the CRA
Thought
dollars
was
for
that
that.
we were going to catch it in CRA, right? Okay, that was my main concern. I'm good, thank you.
Did you have a question on speed bumps you mentioned?
Well, you said we can catch it during
You want to do it on
old
business? Yeah, that's fine. Councilman Hubbard this time.
The only thing I have is getting a lot of feedback about how much people appreciate how well city staff is doing with the website and getting information out, and they truly appreciate seeing all the news and knowing what's going on. So thank you very much for that.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez.
I'm good right now, thank you.
Okay. I just got a couple things. On the speed sign placement, they got this one going northbound. Southbound is not out yet, right? I didn't see it when I.
Southbound will be tomorrow.
The only thing I noticed it's very close to the northbound was very close to the intersection. So as I drove it, I was kind of testing it. And so for me to get up to the 30 mile an hour, I was pretty much there at the speed sign when I got there, and I was pushing it. So it almost seemed like it maybe should be a little farther back. The other school of thought is, when I was talking to Matt, is that lets you know you're at the speed to stay at that speed too. So I guess we'll see how that works out. It can be moved if we see it's maybe not performing how we want it to. Is that pretty much the spot it has to go? Sure.
So that's where the existing speed limit sign was at, where we took the speed limit sign out, put that in there. But the more you go north, there's no room with the guardrail, the hike and bike, and then it would be on that little green shoulder. So
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a little further off the road than maybe it was before. I don't really remember the speed sign being there, to be honest with you. But
Actually, the speed sign was further off the road, wasn't it? I thought it was
the
over
speed
the
sign is exactly in the same spot we put the new sign.
okay. Let's have to see how it works. It seems like it's a little closer, maybe a little far off the road. I mean, I almost missed it. But and then again, like I said, when you get to it, you're not going to catch any speeders there. The point is not to get speeders, honestly. But
The area between the hike and bike and the road, that little green area, there's not enough room to put it. The sign's going to be sticking out in the road for the big square sign that we have up there now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the other one's going to go down just
More in the middle, I guess, of the.
just north of the lift station, but on the southbound lane.
Okay.
So they're going to see it coming out of Avila Bay.
Okay. Yeah, and that's probably an important one too. That other side coming down anyway. So okay, thank you. Just a couple reminders. So we've got mandatory ethics training for all the boards and committee members on September 12th. So that's Thursday, right? Yeah. So make sure that you can make that. Like I said, if you can't, there's a month that you can watch it here in City Hall. So try. And obviously, it's always better to attend in person if you can. So obviously, try to do that. Another important meeting, obviously, is planning and zoning meeting on the 17th. That's going to be about the potential changes down to waterfront. So obviously, make sure you make time to attend. That's going to be in the evening, starting at 6. So more in line with people's schedules. And I'll save this for boards committees real quick. And the other thing I had was last council meeting we had several folks talk about the Amendment 4 resolution, and so we obviously had Nancy, the attorney, look at that, and she's made a recommendation or guidance or whatever on that. So I'll kick it over to you just to kind of explain that for the public.
Absolutely. Consistent with the memo I provided to council, there's no provision in your code or in Florida statute that says you cannot pass a resolution on an issue like that's been requested. However, you recently passed a resolution on proclamations, specifically indicating the council was not going to pass proclamations on political issues or controversial issues. In my opinion, passing a resolution like the one being asked of you to pass would be in direct conflict with that decision, because it is a political issue, it is a controversial issue. So it's my recommendation that you don't entertain this resolution or any other resolution that is about a political issue or a controversial issue. If it's something that you think collectively you want to do now or in the future, I would recommend that you put together a policy, or Matt and I probably put together a policy and procedure for how that would look. Because as you know, today someone asks for A and tomorrow the opponent's going to come in and ask for B, and you need to have some sort of structure to fall back on why you're making the decisions the way you are. With something like that, that would be that's my recommendation. I recommend that it not be entertained nor passed by council.
Yeah. So that's obviously what she came back with, and I agree. It's and I'm very much against Amendment 4 personally, and probably folks up here as well. I'm not sure, but as a city, what we don't want to get ourselves into is aligning with any certain controversial topic, because exactly somebody could be coming in wanting to do a resolution to support Amendment 4, and we wouldn't want to do that either, right? So we would definitely need to put something in place to keep that in line. And again, it's not really something that the city of Port Richey has any dog in a fight, really. I mean, we have residents probably on both sides of that coin. We're here to fix potholes, clean streets, and that kind of thing. We're not really involved in those political issues where we would even have something before us like that. So, so I don't. Obviously, if we were going to do that, that would need to happen next meeting, because obviously election is first part of November. So I just wanted to share that information with the public. I will say that I sit on the Florida Republican Mayors Association. I just talked to Helen right before this meeting, actually, and they, as that organization, which is a collective of Republican mayors in Florida, she asked if that was something that she thought that I agreed that we should, as that association, I'm trouble talking here, that association should pursue, and I absolutely said yes. That's something I'd like to see that organization do, and I think it fits well within that organization to push that as well. So just to let the folks know that the Florida Republican Florida Mayor Association, I believe, is going to take that policy up and put that out there from that organization. And that is, I think, all I had on that. That's all I had. And obviously, one more thing on that. Obviously, if I'm happy to if somebody wants to reach out for my personal endorsement or whatever, or non-endorsement of that, I'd be happy to do that. Or folks up here do the same.
And I meant to say that doesn't mean personally you as personal individual citizens can't be involved in whatever movement you may want to be in. Just collectively, I do not believe it's appropriate.
Yeah. So by all means, if you all feel you want to do that, go ahead. Next up is comments from boards and committees. Do we have anything?
Yes.
Go ahead. CAC, I guess, is that?
Yes, CAC met. We have a couple things. September 18th, we are having our Meet Your Neighbor at Hooters at 5:30 in the air-conditioned room. So please feel free to pop over. September 18th, 5:30. And we are starting back up the cleanup that we used to do. We're going to do Saturday, September 21st at 8 a.m. We're going to meet around Winslow Park. And Matt's going to help us with organizing bags and where to put the trash and get us parking, etc. So if anybody would like to join us, Winslow, 8 a.m., only for an hour or two or three, something like that, or Debbie wants to just do half an hour and go, that's fine too. But we'll start at 8 a.m. on September 21st. So you're more than welcome to join us for that as well. Some of the things we're looking at for the future, they've been talking for a long time about a drum circle. They have somebody that's willing to come up and do that maybe over at Waterfront Park. So some kind of fun little events that we're looking at doing, and I don't have a date on that, but that's in the works. So keep your ears open and we'll come back with you. That's it. Thank you.
You want to say anything about the meeting yesterday, or?
Yeah, I got that out too. Yes, thank you. Went to the Coastal Resilience Committee yesterday. All residents and myself. A lot of good information. Mr. Rose was there as well, who's been very active in not only the county, but I think the state as well with helping with that. So we look forward to looking forward with that and restoring the coastline, whatever that takes, and we'll move forward. So there'll be a lot of good information coming forward about that too. That was just our organizational meeting yesterday. So.
And I do have a question. Somebody said they went to watch that live and it wasn't out there. Are we taping those? It was good. It is out there now. So did you watch it? Okay.
Yeah, and I streamed it live yesterday, so I don't know.
And I didn't check. They said that they tried to watch it. And they might have got on too early or something before it started or whatever. But I thought it. So
It is on YouTube.
okay. So really, all our board and committee meetings, just so folks know, except for CAC, are online. You can watch them at your leisure. And then I actually chair the Centennial Committee. And so just a couple things there to remind folks, and you should see it on the website. So we've narrowed down to the 5 logos, and we've got some really nice logos out there. And so we put that out for people to vote on. And then we'll take those votes, and whatever one gathers the most votes, that will be what our logo ends up being. And of course, we have to bring it to council. But that's kind of the plan is, get the votes out there, see which one of the people like the best, and we'll move forward with that. The other thing is that we have a preliminary list of events that we've kind of proposed that lead up to this. We're going to do 100 days of Centennial. So we're going to start off kicking off with some events, and we'll have events scattered throughout those 100 days. And then that last week of the at the end, we'll have the whole week worth of events, several different things. But those events are out there. It's not exhaustive. This is the kind of stuff we brainstorm as a committee. Lots of good stuff out there. So if we get public comment on that, say, hey, I don't like this event, or I don't see this out here. Here's an idea. We want to bring that back. I think it's still the 16th. Is that right, Sal?
Yeah, we're gonna.
That's both the logos and the events, right?
Yes, we're gonna close everything on the 16th, so then we can obviously discuss it on the 17th.
Yeah. So the goal is to take all the feedback we got from the public on the 16th until 16th, and we'll discuss that in committee meeting, and we'll make some decisions going forward. That next committee meeting, obviously, we'll look at the events and kind of vet out what we think is going to work best in our timeline, and kind of put a timeline together. And obviously, as we go along, we'll let the public know about kind of what we're thinking as well. So, and that's all I have from Centennial. Any other board committees? That covers everything. Okay, moving right along to the consent agenda. For a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. I have a motion second. Any further discussion? Public got comment? Seeing no hands, will bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, item number 3, council business, appointment of members to boards and committees. The Centennial Committee, I pass it to Mr. Coppola for introduction.
Centennial Committee currently has 6 members with 3 vacancies. Kim Lucari, Debbie Robinson, and Janet Applefield have submitted their request to be appointed to the committee either by email or in person.
Okay. And we on the committee approved that to come to council. The only caveat I want to let everybody know is that we opened this board up to non-residents. Of the 3 that are being considered here are all non-residents. We've had no other people sign up, and we've got 3 spots left on the committee. Obviously, we've got a lot of work to do, and we need folks to do that. So the committee recommended that we approve these 3. So if you guys are okay with that, take a motion.
Residents are not, they're Pasco County residents then, I guess.
Yeah.
South
Well,
San
and
Francisco.
just to be clear, that so obviously Kim and Janet and Debbie, they very close to the city line. They've been involved in the city for a long time. So while they're not technically city residents, they're the next best thing probably.
Make a motion to approve them for the Centennial Board.
A motion second. Further discussion? Anyone public like to comment? Seeing hands, bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome. Sorry, I forgot your name. Going on here.
You'll know it at the end of the committee.
That's right. I won't forget it again. Item number 4, discussion to schedule fiscal year 24-25 quarterly town hall meeting dates. I'll pass it to Mr. Coppola for introduction.
We're trying to be organized this year by putting out what the dates are for the upcoming town halls. And what we have for you is those dates, and we'd like a motion to go through those.
Yeah, and so those look like they're the first Tuesday, which is our off-cycle council meeting. So I think that schedule works out great.
Motion to approve town hall meetings for 2025.
And motion second. Further discussion? Anyone public got comment? Bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, MOU PSO Operation Stone Garden. I'll pass that to Mr. Coppola for introduction.
Fort Ritchie Police Department is a participating friendly force in the Pasco Sheriff's Office Operation Stone Garden program. A memorandum of understanding is required outlining the Pasco Sheriff's Office is the recipient, implementing agency of Operation Stone Garden Border Security Grant RO 545 through the Florida Division of Emergency Management. Fort Ritchie Police Department, along with Newport Ritchie, Zephyr Hills, Dade City Police Departments, participates in operational missions in various locations throughout Pasco County. And just real quick, I don't know if Chief Robinson wants to comment any more on this. Good. Okay.
I did notice there was a couple sections that were highlighted on the packet. I didn't know if that had any significance or not.
So those I believe are the changes that were made to it. So
this is
what
something
was
happened last year.
presented, yeah.
Gotcha. And then the only, not concern, but obviously I just wanted to draw attention to it. It's item 5 under fiscal number or letter B, and then 3, participants will send all invoices and documentation required for reimbursement within 45 days of an operation to the Pasco Sheriff's Office. And it goes on to say, in the event of invoices and documentation are not sent within 45 days of operation, municipality waives its request for reimbursement. So I'm assuming we're going to stay on top of that. So, with that, any other discussion and or motion?
Motion to approve, hold on, I gotta use the right pages.
Turn your mic on.
MOU,
Mic on.
Oh, yeah.
I can start over now.
Nobody heard that first part. So.
Nobody heard that. Motion to approve the MOU Operation Stone Garden. Second.
I got second Dave. So motion second. Further discussion? Anyone public like comment? See, I have to bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, purchase request to epoxy line the Grand Boulevard US 19 lift station and the Pine Hill lift station. I'll pass it to Mr. Coppola for introduction.
Public Works Utility Director Darrell Rose is requesting authorization to reline the Grand Boulevard and US 19 Famous State Lift Station and the Pine Hill Lift Station. The stations will be epoxy coated to address the issues of failing walls, holes, and stormwater infiltration. Restoration and Protective Solutions perform the work for the lift station. The city will be piggybacking on a contract from the City of Cape Coral, contract number BUT 2092MC, to make this purchase. And from a monetary standpoint, as you know, we went through the budget process for next year, but the current year we have budgeted in the utility fund lift station improvements of $90,000. This will, of course, estimated the two projects at $49,286, leaving $40,713 in the account. Also saying that we are in the process of making a purchase for a pump that I believe you'll see as well. So that'll further reduce that number.
Dale, do you have anything you want to add to that? Or good? Okay, I'll open up for motion or discussion.
One quick question. Have we utilized any of these epoxy coatings in any of our lift stations yet to date?
Hey, Darrell. Go.
Senator, yeah.
Yeah, Olsner has it. We just rehabbed that last year. So that's got the epoxy lining in it. And we did, what was the other one, Sal, that you guys did last year before I got here?
But it seems to be
Chapel.
Olsner and Chapel.
It seems to be working out
Yeah, so
with the results.
these epoxy coatings, they have a 50-year warranty that come with them.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah.
They have to do a spark testing, which is a millimeter testing on it to make sure the thickness is right, and they're good. So
Make a motion. I'll make a motion to proceed with the epoxy on the lift station there at the 19 and Grand.
And Pine Hill as well. Second.
A motion second for discussion. Anyone public like comment? See no hands, I'll bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Darrell. Next up, item number 7, purchase request of vehicles for utilities and public works departments. I'll pass that to Mr. Coppola for introduction.
Gee, Darrell probably should just stay there.
Stick around.
Public Works Utility Director Darrell Rose requesting the purchase of 2 trucks, one F-150 crew cab 4x4 and one F-250 crew cab 4x4. The vehicles will be allocated by, again, piggybacking the Florida Sheriff's Association FSA 22-VL30.0, and we purchased through Bozard Ford for a base price of $53,445 for the F-150 and $60,952 for the F-250, as highlighted on the following page. Bozard Ford has confirmed the price. The quote was received on August 12, 2024. The new vehicles will replace 2 older vehicles currently in the fleet. And I don't know if you would like to say anything else. This is your opportunity.
So one of the truck is a 2012 F-150 with around 90,000 miles on it. It's got a lift gate. They used it for lift station stuff like that. The bed's kind of rusty on it a little bit, but it's just coming its time with age and miles. And truck 313's got a blown motor in it. It's a 2015. And there's a quote in there. I think it's almost around $11,000 to fix it. The F-250 is going to be used to assist also with pulling some machinery around, because the utility bodies and stuff that we have now, they just can't do it. So we just got to use the dump truck. The dump truck's tied up. I got to pull the dump truck off in order to pull another piece of equipment around. That's what the F-250 is for. And then the F-150 is just a standard truck to replace that one, the other F-150.
On that 250, it has like the I guess boxes around it.
No, this one, so we are, the two we are giving back to the utilities guys have the boxes on them. These are just going to be standard trucks.
Gotcha. I don't know if you move those over, that's part of the truck. It's a different configuration of what we've had, I guess, right?
Correct, yeah.
Open up for motion or discussion. The only thing I was thinking about, obviously, is I know we just purchased for the building department, building official, that I think it's a F-150, 150? It's 150.
They purchased a Dodge Ram.
A Dodge, okay. Obviously, depending on what we end up doing from a long-term perspective, where we actually hire somebody or keep a contractual relationship, that vehicle's ready. I don't know if that vehicle would be something that you could use in the interim until we figure out what we're going to do with that. Because obviously, if we end up with a contractual relationship with a building official, we may or may not need that truck. And it's a brand new vehicle. So that's the only thing that a little bit of concern to me. What happens with that? So.
What happened to the blown motor with 53,000? Is there a Paul Harvey on that?
So that happened, I guess, last year before I got here, and it was sitting at Farmeries for the longest time, and they were having trouble getting parts for it. Also with the computer chip, and Farmeries did a thing on it, and that's when they determined the motor and the chip was bad in it. So it sat at Farmeries for a while.
And then the two trucks you're replacing will go where?
Utilities.
Okay.
And Public Works. We'll give one to Public Works, one will be for utilities.
So we're still going to repair the low motor, I guess? Is that?
No, that would be the one we'd surplus.
Okay.
And then the 150, what's going on with it?
It's just high mileage and age.
Are we going to get rid of it as well?
It would be surplus, correct?
We've got an exit plan for both of those vehicles.
Yeah, they're going to both be surplus.
Motion to approve the two vehicles for the utilities department. Go ahead and say what they are.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Anyone public got comment? See no hands, I bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. And last up is old business. Is there any discussion of old business? You had something you want to talk about, the speed bumps.
I was just wondering where they're at, status.
I saw in the comments that there's potentially going to be a study or something now.
We're still talking about that. Is that
Kind of talking about it. And like I said, I defer to the city manager, but one of the recommendations from Newport Richey was when they installed their speed bumps, they had a traffic study done before doing that. And we were talking about doing the same. So that's where we're at right now. We've been going back and forth with Pasco County about maintenance of the road. It's kind of a touchy subject because some of the people that we've talked to have said that it's county road. Some of the people have said that it's our responsibility. The majority of them have said that it's ours, but they also have touched on the fact that we should have some sort of traffic study or something done before installing some sort of speed bump or anything else, traffic calming device.
How much is the traffic study going to cost?
I have not yet started research on that.
So I know we kind of said go ahead with what those positions were. I mean, I'm all about doing a traffic study if it's really something we need, but I don't want to just throw money at something to come back and say, hey, you put them here, and it's the same place we picked them. But
well, I think what the traffic study will do is not so much say that's where they should go. It's going to be warranting the fact that they're needed, because the concern is if you put them in and there's an accident related to them and you don't have something that supports why you put them there, you're going to lose money. And that's been kind of, we go back and forth because we know the council definitely wants to do this and has given us the authorization to do it, but there's also that liability standpoint that we need to do that just to cover the city's risk.
So risk mitigation.
Yeah.
And we have no idea.
It's probably going to be somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, hopefully less than that. I have done similar type of in the past, and that's usually the range they fall in. So,
Let me ask a question. we didn't do a traffic study on Old Post, but that doesn't interfere with the driving on the road.
Yeah,
Could we put the same kind of device? In fact, we have an extra one right now. Could we put that there to see if that actually helps and maybe mitigate the speed bumps if that actually solves the problem?
I think the cost on the speed bumps was $8,000 for both of them.
And the study's 15. That
Yeah, so you double the
at
cost,
some
right?
point it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Um,
Well, that's still in the signs. I think they were $4,000 a piece as well, right?
A little over,
What's that?
a little over 4, yeah.
Yeah. So speed bumper sign about the same cost.
but you don't have to worry about interfering with
right.
traffic, right? And if it achieves the result, I mean, we could validate that because these are devices that monitor or give us a report back whether the speed is being calmed, I guess, right?
I mean, the reason that we
The
were
device actually measures something, right?
Yeah,
The sign does.
if I'm correct, the sign does collect information. Yes, that was one of the reasons
Why
why
we
got
did it, right,
Yeah.
right.
If it's right from the fire department, that's not where people are speeding.
No, I'm talking about the new signs that we bought on
The
Old
whole sign
Post.
that they put there is.
Right, but this is a physical sign that is mounted in the ground.
so in lieu of a speed bump, it would be a permanent sign.
That shows your speed and encourage you to slow down, right?
I mean, the reason we looked at speed bumps obviously because speed bumps are already on Grand. It just makes somewhat sense to just continue those. But obviously, if it's going to be cost prohibitive to do that, maybe a sign would be better. Again, I don't know. We can always play with it to see.
Can I ask Nancy, what is your recommendation legal-wise, whether we not need a traffic study or not?
You always want the protection to support what you do.
So
Right?
what would be
So the
your
study
advice
would-
to get a
would be
traffic
the-
study?
The study would be the wisest way to go forward.
If you're going to do speed bumps.
For the speed
Yes.
bumps, yeah, if you want to put
Well, I
yeah.
wanted to get her
Right,
advice.
The side,
because-
yeah, right. You've hit the nail on the head. The signs on the side that collect data that show people what they're doing.
That's no risk at all.
They're not going to. Their car's not going to go. That's not going to. That's not going to be an issue. I mean, unless they're off the road, which is their own issue. So it's very different. Very different. Yeah.
Can we see how the two do an Old Post? Give it a month or so and just see if, because will we be able to get data, chief, on those signs or whoever? I know, because that was one of the questions I asked. Does it collect data? And I was told yes. Oh. Who's going to monitor that then?
I'll just Public Works install the signs, but I'll talk with Daryl tomorrow about how
Okay.
we can go ahead and collect the information and how that goes. We have some literature and information on how to do it, but I'll go ahead and
So
work with him.
that's not something you are a part of, I guess, or
Just to clarify, I'm saying the PD didn't order the
Right.
signs, but we can collect the data.
okay. Because we collect that on all the other ones. I assume that's the speed would be some function.
Right.
Yeah, one of the traffic trailers collects data, the other one doesn't.
That incognito device might be beneficial to set it up beyond that speed sign on Old Post to
Oh,
see,
yeah. That's a good idea.
see if it's calming the traffic in the location that it's sitting. So potentially, we could do the same thing with the other sign on Grand and see if that is effective. I always like to see data that supports the decision, and if it doesn't, then wasting our time and money.
I
We
would
saw
like-
all the speeds, it registered
Right.
speeds.
But if the device doesn't work, that's what I'm saying.
Right, and I agree. I think if we could collect the data, because Washington is a main state for, that's a straight line.
Yeah.
They're speeding up and down Washington all the time. So I mean, there are many streets within the city that we've already established that we're ahead of Grand, but that could also benefit. So if we collect the data from Old Post, which we know is also a speeding mega, and we establish that yes, these signs are working, then we should just kind of like do all the streets that are really,
Traffic issue.
Grand, Washington, and go and Bay maybe, and do it all at once and attack it all at once, as opposed to, well, see if it works, maybe it doesn't, then spend $10,000 on 2 signs that don't work.
Well, to that
Well,
point,
maybe I hope they do.
yeah, well, to that point, if this, let's say we did move ahead on, we just found out that the cost's going to double, possibly triple. That pays for a lot of extra signs. So
Absolutely.
we would actually get more coverage if we went with the signs.
If the signs
And then
are
the whole
effective.
goal is,
Right.
If the signs are effective.
right, right,
Because-
exactly.
Yeah, because I'm doubtful that the signs will be effective eventually.
So we have a sign over in Washington now. The speed. Have some sign-
Yeah.
Has that helped over there? No, didn't think so.
It helps when they see it. They slow
It's
down and then
dangerous
they speed
over
back up. And
because
then they
it
speed
does
back up.
wind. Reason on Grand is because not just because they're coming off 19, but it winds around and there's a lot of pedestrians, a lot of golf carts, a lot of bicycles, electric scooters, and it's very dangerous. People, there's so many close calls over there as it is.
And there's no sidewalks.
That's why it's essential to have that over there. Washington is very dangerous. Don't have so many bicycles, golf carts over there, but
There's two different things because one is straight, like you said, one is straight, one is curved.
But you can put a stop sign at that new four-way we have there, that new subdivision, the Keys. You can put a stop sign on Washington there. That would slow that down.
Well, there is sidewalk going all the way down Washington too, which not all the
Right, there is a,
Well, not all the way.
yeah, not all the way.
From where Port Richey starts, there's a sidewalk. From where Port Richey goes back towards Massachusetts, there is no
okay
sidewalk.
stops there.
So
But
even
it's-
though
it's-
that's not Port Richey's, I mean, I'd still hate to get killed on that side of the sign.
Right.
because-
If we're going to tie our cities together, Newport Richey and Port Richey, that's going to be a major thoroughfare for a lot of people with golf carts. And you need slow cars down there. Signs won't do it.
Yeah, I want to also point out that we are getting ready to have the kickoff for the
Safe
Safe
Streets.
Streets for All
Yeah.
traffic studies that we're going to be doing. And one of the things that will come out of this is looking at each of those streets and coming up with ways to make them safer. So I think before we start making plans to do a lot of stuff on all our streets, we should get that study completed that will lend us to taking the proper traffic calming things. Yeah,
How long will
solutions
that
for those
study
streets.
take? Approximately.
Originally, if they started in July, it was going to be March. So we're starting now in September. So we're probably looking May-ish. But again, it can be sped up a little bit, I think. So we're having a kickoff meeting Thursday.
So they're doing studies now.
So they're going to be doing a more broader study. They may not get down to that. I should say that they will be making some recommendations on the different traffic calming solutions for the different roads. And may be very beneficial towards that, but I don't know if it's going to be at the level that what Newport Richey has done for theirs and other.
Would it-
want to find
The same
out.
road.
Would it not be? I mean, I would think that they're doing that study and they're looking at Grand Boulevard that has speed bumps already. That it's plausible to think they may come back with a recommendation that those continue as part of that safe street. I don't know if they.
Right, it very well could. I mean, that's. I know one of the things that as we were interviewing the different firms for this, we asked about the concept of speed bumps and how they viewed it, what their thoughts were, and to a company, they all said, well, it depends. There's you can't just say that because it works on one street, it's going to work on another street. You have to take in everything that's happening on that street to understand. So it very well could be they come back and say that's not an effective traffic calming solution for Grand. They could say something else.
All right.
So I mean, it's just hard to tell right now until they start getting in and looking at the data.
Anything else on old business? Last thing I had, I highlighted city street paving. We got this punch out list that's working, I guess. Where are we at with that? And I noticed, I think they still have their pylons and stuff there, back there by the Walmart. I haven't picked up deals. I don't know what's, well, that's taking forever.
We've talked to them several times to pick up their equipment. They obviously finally got the signs off of Ridge Road and 19. So they're aware of their equipment coming to get it. They have to do Wells Court again.
Right, okay.
They're fully aware of that. So we don't want to close that item out. We have not yet paid them. They're going to repave that. They actually just sent us an email, I believe earlier today, that they still have that plan to redo, and they understand that what was wrong with it, so they're going to redo that. So
Anything on the lines, the arrows? They were gonna. Thought they said they were gonna paint those in because they're like dashed. They're different from
I
any.
didn't know about that. Was that something we wanted to address? The arrows?
So when I spoke to them, they said striping company, that's just the stencils that they used. That's just the stencils that they use. That company that they use.
I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just different than anything. That's the only ones
Correct,
I've ever
yeah.
seen. So it
It's
doesn't
a
match.
three-piece
Necessarily,
arrow.
not that it's a big deal, but
Yeah, it's a 3-piece arrow.
yeah.
But pretty much all the manholes are cleaned up. Everything's going like
Yeah, no, those areas they're great.
Yeah,
Especially
And
by
I-
Walmart. That's godsend. And Bay Boulevard.
yeah. And I asked them about the storm box in the middle of the intersection there at Ritchie and Wilkins. They can't really do anything about it because if they get too close, then they are worried about damaging the structure with it. So
Yeah, thanks. Okay, that's all I got. Go for motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Take 5 minutes.